Boom, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to drop in and talk about one of the most important things about trading and investing that would go over most people's head, I'm sure, which is not to be so in your head and to find ways to be mindful while trading and investing. So for those of you that have joined this journey with us so far, you will recognize that as technical analysis, it's pretty easy to see that a common accumulation pattern takes months to years. Now, if you have months to years to really just basically buy and hold and accumulate more, what are you going to do with that time? Now, on the top of the list, number one, I think mindfulness and meditation are extremely important. Now, there's probably a few M's we could slam in there, like mathematics is another type of meditation I think most people overlook, which is just pondering how things kind of work together. But you can do a bunch of different types of meditation. So my favorite type of meditation is one that Naval Ravikant shared with me with his guru as well. And I had a fantastic time going over and learning it, which is to do basically nothing, but to allow everything to happen. So if you're sitting there to do about an hour every day in the morning, right when you're fresh, right when you wake up, so you're cognitive and conscious, and just chill out with your eyes closed, and whatever thoughts arise, let them arise. If you want to put your arms up in the air, put your arms up in the air for a second. If you want to stretch your toes, stretch your toes. Let whatever happens, happen, and don't really fight your mind or your body having this conversation together. Because often those thoughts that are coming up about, oh, you got to check your emails, or you got to do this type of work, or there's these contracts that need to be signed, are rather unimportant. But if you let your mind go through that process, you'll find a lot of the things you need to do are already done when you need to go do them. Meaning, at least in your mind, you've come to terms with what needs to be done next, so you execute. Now, this is a big common mistake for traders and investors, because if you don't have that forward-thinking capacity to execute, and you get your emotions in the way when you're running up in the middle of a trade, well, that's probably not going to work out all that well for you. So, what can you do? You can meditate. That's number one. The second on the list, you believe it or not, listen to lectures or read books. Now, I know, again, let's assume you've got a year or two to wait things over during a normal accumulation range, right? What are you going to do with that time? Read books. I have been reading 2 to 3 books every month for the last year and the year before, and under this idea that if I wasn't happy with the book, just put it down and go on to the next one. One of the hardest problems I had with starting reading again was I would open a book and I would feel like beholden to the end of the book, right? But if we go back to the beginning of this conversation, we'll recognize one important point, that this is part of the process. So I would open a book, I'd read until I was unhappy or discontent or excited to just push on through and read every page till there was nothing in the book left. That simple little change allowed me to read a lot more, because if I made it to a part of a book that I didn't like, I just put that book down, I walked away, and I started the next book whenever I felt like doing so. Now, number 3, one of the most important things that you can do as a trader and investor is pretty much ignore everybody else. Yes, that's right. You ignore everybody else, even me, right? So what we want to do is instill and empower individual investors to come up with their own vision of what's happening in the markets so that they can make executions and take action off what they are seeing. I know it's a hard thing to look for, but there is no guru in the markets. Now, I want to give a hats off for those of you that like studying. Please check out Jim Simmons. He was the leader of a hedge fund called Renaissance Medallion. They did billions of dollars. He himself, I think, made like $40 billion from his trading. And all he did, well, and I'm not to discount this, because there's a lot of randomness involved in like getting it right, but he hired scientists, physicists, astrophysicists, all different types of people, that mathematicians, and he got them to work on algorithms that basically would buy and sell without emotion, following trading ranges. He blew Ray Dalio out of the water, George Soros, Warren Buffett, all those guys did significantly less than him, yet you'll never hear his name. I suggest checking out his lectures, because if you don't like reading, maybe try listening. Anyways, this is Tio with the Arcane Bear. I just want to do a quick little video update about whatever this is. This is just me ranting because it's Saturday and I wanted to try, like, look, I've got colors over here. I've got instruments over there. I've got like a zoom in thing over here, and I can zoom into my eyes and be like, yeah, guess what? Bam!